Jonathan Lee Rich's investigating. It's got some new Derek Chauvin news. Derek Chauvin, remember this guy's face? Remember this guy? Convicted in Minnesota for the death of George Floyd that sparked riots and protests all across the country. Well, he's back in the news for two things. One, he's speaking out from prison. He's serving 22 and a half years for his murder conviction in Minnesota, while he's serving a 20-year federal sentence for violating civil rights. He's also in the news because the United States Supreme Court has denied his appeal. But first, I want to show you something here. Where Derek Chauvin used to live in Oakdale, Minnesota. I went to his house. I went to the house he lived at when he did this horrible act to George Floyd. And I want to show you that here, right now, and then we will further discuss about the other issues. Check it out.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto 17th Street North. Turn right onto 17th Street North, then your destination will be on the right. Your destination is on the right.
All right, so that is the former home of Derek Chauvin, right there. Oakdale, Minnesota. What's your take on Derek Chauvin? Do you believe he is innocent or guilty? Defenders of Derek Chauvin think that he was just doing his job and he was following policy and procedure. Other people think he was guilty for what he did to George Floyd. What do you think? What do you think? I am here in front of his home. That's the home where Derek Chauvin used to live. On a corner of a busy street. This is his neighborhood. Derek Chauvin is serving two sentences. One in state, convicted, responsible for what he did to George Floyd, and another in federal court. Jonathan Lee Riches. Like to go to the scene of individuals that are centered around controversies and crimes around this country, that's what I do. I go see myself. If somebody's living in Chauvin's home now, I'm not going to knock on the door. I don't think that's necessary. Neither should you. Just wanted to see his house. Filmed it. Big water tower here. Look at that. Big water tower. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button. I cover true crime throughout the country. Leave no stone unturned. Like to visit wherever big stories happen. That's what I do. I was in the Minnesota area, Wisconsin area, so I dropped on by to see what it is about. Everyone be safe. God bless. Nice crib, right? It's a nice house. Right off the main drag there, big water tower that says Oakdale. Derek Chauvin used to live there. Him and his wife, they had property in Florida. His wife, I don't believe, wants anything else to do with him. What's your thoughts on that? Now, let's share this new report. This new report by the Daily Mail. We like the Daily Mail when it comes to these type of reports. Derek Chauvin speaks out from prison in a new George Floyd documentary, The Fall of Minneapolis. The whole trial was a sham. That's what he says. Chauvin thinks the whole trial was a sham. Derek Chauvin, the former cop serving 21 years for the death of George Floyd, has described his trial as a sham in his first comments to the media. The interview is part of The Fall of Minneapolis, a new documentary that re-examines Floyd's death, the prosecution of Chauvin, and the way the world reacted to it. Journalist Liz Collin produced the film to expose what she frames as a global rush to judgment in the case that was fueled by Democratic officials and eventually led to a spread of crime across the United States. Now, you saw my video I just showed you. Is Derek Chauvin guilty or innocent? What is your thoughts on that? Because there's a lot of mixed opinions when it comes to Chauvin. Guilty or innocent? It divided the country. There was a lot of outrage, riots, protests, a lot of looting, different things in cities all across the country. So protesters gathered outside their home and many called for Collin, a veteran reporter, to be fired, right? She was vilified in 2020 while reporting on the riots after George Floyd's death. That is who wrote this documentary. It did this documentary here, The Fall of Indianapolis. Further, right? Chauvin, Chauvin speaks to Collin from prison over the phone. He says the trial and his sentencing are a sham and that the ambulance took too long to respond to the incident. So he's blaming the ambulance for not responding in time. What do you think? I don't know. In his phone interview with Collin, Chauvin also claims it was not normal for the ambulance that eventually responded to the incident to take so long. EMTs took 20 minutes to arrive, Mr. Chauvin says, despite being 8 blocks away. So he speaks, and I'm gonna watch that because Chauvin is an interesting character, right? The whole George Floyd, there was a lot of outcry. Now, second matter of business right here. The United States Supreme Court rejects a review of Derek Chauvin's latest appeal. The United States Supreme Court rejected former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin's latest appeal attempt Monday, just a week after he filed a new motion attempting to overturn his federal conviction in the murder of George Floyd. The court did not give an explanation for the rejection. Usually they don't accept anyone's case. Lots of Supreme Court cases don't even get heard. You petition for a writ and the court usually denies. So it looks like they denied Mr. Chauvin's, right? They denied it. In the motion to vacate his federal sentence filed last Monday, Chauvin said that he would not have pled guilty in his federal case if his attorney at the time, Eric Nelson, had informed him that a pathologist offered to testify that Chauvin didn't cause George Floyd's death. Floyd's murder in May 2020, when Chauvin knelt on his neck for more than 9 minutes, sparked a global reckoning over race and policing. It's a very controversial case, folks. Derek Chauvin serving 2 decades in prison. What's your thoughts? Guilty or innocent? But Supreme Court, we don't even want to hear his case. And, we'll see what happens with this fall in Minneapolis. You going to plan to watch it? I think I will. So that is the latest in Derek Chauvin's news. What do you think about the area you lived at? And what do you think about the George Floyd case? I'll be reading your comments. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button. JLR, boots on the ground, covering true crime all across the country, controversies and everything. We will talk soon. Stay tuned.